Hi, my name is David Perlman, and I'm going to be the instructor for HP 880, Ethics in Public Health and Public Policy. This is fall 2010 semester. I apologize that I can't be here in person. I had a conference to attend and didn't know that USP scheduled its classes so early. So, without further ado, what I'm going to try to accomplish in this particular podcast is basically a discussion of the syllabus and the course requirements. And you'll have access to this through Angel. So let's go ahead, if you can open up either an electronic copy or another hard copy of the syllabus. I'm just going to take you through it so that you can understand what the class requirements are going to be. Our meeting time is 4 to 5:50 p.m. on Tuesdays, and I actually don't know which classroom we're going to be in. I have to find that out, but we'll definitely be in 4101 Woodland. And just a note to those of you who do drive that you should not park in the lot at 41st and Chester. They will likely tow your car. So a little bit about me. I am an Ethics and Health Policy Fellow here at University of the Sciences. In addition to all the work that I do with USP, I'm a senior lecturer over at the School of Nursing at Penn, as well as an associate at their Center for Bioethics. And when I'm not doing those academic-related things, I own a small business that's devoted to developing interactive education for ethics. And I've included some links in your document to some bios so you can find out more about me. I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Facebook. You may not want to join during the semester, but I encourage you to definitely friend me or LinkedIn me after the course, just in case you post personal things that you don't want your instructor to know. You can reach me by email at d.perlman, Perlman, at usp.edu. And I do check that email quite frequently. It comes up on my phone. That's the best way to reach me. I'll know more about office hours that I'll be keeping once they let me know if and where I'll be having an office. But for now, if you could, just email me if you need to meet, and we can arrange a meeting time. My schedule is very flexible, so day, evening, whenever, if you need to meet, that's fine. Alternatively, if things can be done over email, that's great too. Now, many of you have already emailed me asking, I need to know what text to buy. We're going to do this course all electronic. There's not going to be any required texts for you to purchase. All the readings that I've required will either be available on the web or will be posted in PDF format on Angel. And your job is to use them in accordance with fair use provisions for the course. And basically that means you can't sell the readings, you can't distribute them, they're locked down, so to speak, on Angel. So let's move to talk a little bit about the actual course, why it exists, and what the objectives are. So basically what we're going to do is explore ethical issues and their implications for public health and health policy decisions. And how we're going to do that is we're first going to have an introduction to the general field of ethics, very rudimentary introduction, and ethical decision-making. And what we're going to try to make use of is some resources about critical thinking in discussing ethics. And basically what that means is that we apply reason to and offer supportable arguments for particular choices. So we're going beyond opinion. We're going to be trying to look at the arguments for or against particular policy decisions, ethical decisions, and make sure that those arguments either have good facts, good data, or good decision-making processes to support those choices. Then we're going to take a look at the development of current approaches to modern bioethics. We're going to look at research ethics, which is a huge part of public health and health policy decisions, as well as sort of the more bedside ethics. And when we do these two particular topics, we're going to be taking a look at them from the perspective of the public health population-based aspects of these things. And then the second half of the semester, we're going to apply our understanding of the ethical principles and these approaches that we've learned to specific issues in public health and health policy. And this is where you come in. These are going to be through student-run seminar presentations and discussions. I really think it's important, especially for those of you who are taking this for PhD level course, that you be able to actually run a seminar by yourself. It's a skill that you're going to have to use whether you become an academic professor, whether you work in public health, whether you work in the corporate world, wherever. You need to be able to run a presentation, and that's what we're going to focus on. Let's go to the objectives. The first is we want to evaluate a variety of ways of approaching decisions regarding ethical actions and responses. We're not necessarily going to be advocating for particular public health policies or decisions per se, but we're going to take a look at what makes them maybe the best choice out of the other alternatives and whether the decision making and reasoning behind those decisions makes sense from an ethical viewpoint. We're going to also describe and appraise the history and development of modern bioethics. We're going to apply those critical thinking skills to the ethical challenges in decision making regarding issues in public health and public policy. And as I mentioned before, we're going to develop professional publication and presentation skills. You will be writing a paper. So turning to now actually the course requirements. Readings. You're going to be required to do the weekly reading assignments. All of those readings will be posted in PDF format on Angel, or they will be available via the web. And all of the links have been included in the syllabus, which we'll get to, which is the last page of the particular document you're looking at now. And all of those links worked as of late August 2010. The readings are going to be the basis for class discussion of topics. Your participation in class is expected. I expect you to have read all of the material. That's the only way that we're going to have fruitful discussions. And this is a graduate level course, and unlike an undergraduate one where we may sort of do more hand-holding by giving quizzes or whatnot, this is a graduate level course, so the expectation is that you will actually do the reading and you will find them very enjoyable and no complaining. Papers. There will be 2 papers for this particular class. The first is going to be somewhat different than you've probably seen. It's going to be a personal narrative or an essay on a topic regarding the current healthcare reform that you have personally experienced. Healthcare reform is an excellent topic for us to take on. It certainly is public health and public policy, and there are ethical dimensions to it. And all of us will either be sick, know someone who's sick, have encountered problems with the healthcare system, and I want to hear sort of a personal reflection on what you think about the current healthcare reform initiative in relation to those kinds of things. We're going to upload those personal narratives, and we'll have an online discussion of each paper and its relevance to ethics, public health, and public policy. And I will go ahead and post one of my essays on Angel as an example. It's not related specifically to health reform, but it gives you a sense of how personal it should be, but also how scholarly it should be. We'll be doing an online discussion of these papers. So you'll upload them to Angel, you'll read them before class, and then we'll all log on to the built-in chat feature within Angel and have sort of a remote class. And the reason I'm doing that is for that particular class, I actually will not be available, so we'll have to do that class online. And it actually just works out kind of nice that we can structure that discussion online. The second paper is more research focused. It's on an issue of your choice. You'll research a topic, you'll write a paper of about 6 pages, double-spaced, as if you were trying to submit it to the editor of a major journal. And I believe in recycling. We're going to take the class green, and that topic that you write your paper on will also be recycled for your seminar presentation. And the nice thing about this way of doing things is that you'll be able to conduct research on a particular topic that's of interest to you, that has relevance to the class, and you'll do the research, you'll do a presentation, and be able to gather feedback from your classmates and then sort of write up the paper to the end of class. It's kind of a nice way of doing things. And the topic is up to you, but I do have several sample topics that you might consider. Compulsory vaccination of healthcare workers, the ethical issues surrounding smoking, alcoholism, or drug abuse, confidentiality and privacy, obesity, disasters and public health preparedness, environmental health and ethics, quarantine, or broadly construed public health powers, anything relating to pharmaceuticals. And the topics are very free-ranging. Each topic in public health or health policy will have some ethical dimension. And it's just a matter of figuring out what that ethical dimension is, doing good research on it, presenting the pros and cons in your class presentation. You do need to check with me just to make sure that you're on the right track with your topic. And I don't think I've really ever said no to a particular topic unless it was like way off. And depending on how many students are in the class and depending on whether or not people are interested, we might have 2 student teams conducting such presentations. And that really depends both on the class size and what your interest is. The other requirement is that presentation and discussion. And as I said, being able to research a topic and lead a discussion on that topic is a really important leadership skill. You'll be conducting research on a topic for your second paper. Your job for the seminar presentation is to present a balanced, research-based, informative summary of your issue. You can use slides and multimedia if you wish, but that's not absolutely required. Then you facilitate a discussion of the issue and its ethical implications for public health and public policy. You will essentially be leading the class. It's up to you. You'll need to work with me to develop what your learning objectives are, what your readings are, what your discussion points are. And then you'll need to post in PDF format the most pertinent readings on Angel at least a week before the session that you're scheduled to go so the other students can be well prepared for your discussion. The other class requirement is attendance and participation. You're expected to arrive on time and attend all classes. And while lateness may be sometimes unavoidable, if you repeatedly arrive late, that will start to affect your participation grade. If you're going to miss class, it's just respectful to let me know beforehand. And you can have 2 unexcused absences during the semester, and then anything other than that that's unexcused will start to affect that participation grade. So while we're on that subject, let's turn to the actual grade calculation. I personally don't like grades. I don't think they do a good job of measuring your effectiveness as a student and your future preparation, but they require us to give you a grade. And here's the breakdown of assignments and what percentage of the grade that's going to be. Your first paper, which is the personal narrative, which is shorter, is going to be worth 20% of your grade. Your second paper, which is the larger research-based paper, will be worth 30%. And your class participation will be worth 1/4 of your grade, and the seminar presentation as well will be worth 1/4 of your grade. This being an ethics course, we need to stress academic integrity. It's the center of your educational experience at University of the Sciences. So you're expected to uphold the highest standards of academic integrity, not to engage in or tolerate any academic dishonesty. And that includes, but isn't limited to, fabrication, cheating, plagiarism. Any violation of academic integrity will be investigated, and where warranted, you will receive appropriate sanctions through whatever the university's process is for that. So if you're unfamiliar with that, you may want to consult the student handbook, and in particular the student conduct policy and academic integrity policy, and those are available for you in your student handbook. If assignment is made individually, the expectation is that you'll complete that individually. And as I said, students suspected of violating the principles of academic dishonesty will be referred to the Student Conduct Committee. Let's talk a little bit about student support for disabilities. The University of the Sciences supports the educational endeavors of all students, including students with disabilities, and the Americans with Disabilities Act defines a disability as a mental or physical impairment that substantially limits one or more major life activities. So if you're a student and you believe you have a disability that may impact your ability to fulfill the course or your degree requirements, or you would like more information on applying for an accommodation, please contact the Assistant Dean of Students, who serves as the Student Disabilities Coordinator, and they can assist you. If you do have a disability, it is up to you to communicate with me, the instructor, so that we can arrange a mutually satisfactory accommodation.